Right.
Hello.
All right, mate.
Hello,
Hello.
mate. Welcome to the very Christmassy edition of the Quantum
Very
Bridge.
festive scenes going.
All of the reindeer floating around behind me. Mind
Yeah.
you, obviously our audience, being that they're in the 5D capacity rather than the 3D, or they're, moving between those worlds like us,
Mm.
um, they can see behind me a completely different scenario than a
Beyond
few.
the veil of bedroom attire, sort of
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, welcome everybody. Very good to see you.
Yep.
Thank you very much for supporting us this year. And Gary and I just thought we'd run through a quick sort of get together, I suppose, for
Mm.
ourselves and for you. And I just want to start by saying, again, thank you for anybody who's engaged with our material and for all the guests that have come on throughout 2024 as we move into what we believe will be a very exciting and very different 2025. So, yeah, firstly, start by saying that. Gary, before I jump into a couple of other things that I wanted to
Yep.
say, um, anything springing to mind, anything you want to share with our wonderful
Hmm.
5D audience?
Yeah. I guess it was just to reflect on that 2024. So about I think it was at the beginning of December uh, last year. Our video with Franco Parallel Worlds went out. And I would say, certainly for me, and maybe a lot of the audience, because of the response to that video as well, that 2024 felt really like that. I think that was quite significant of having the 1 foot in, 1 foot out type of feeling you're in both of those worlds, but not quite shifted yet.
The,
Um,
the surfing of each wave, as we
yeah,
touched on with Dennis as well.
that's right. Yeah, we've
Yeah.
touched on it a few times, and that I would say sums up 2024 for me at least. Um, as in, I know for yourself as well, it's been busy because I guess we are doing those two worlds at the same time. We're trying, we're having to do the 3D stuff to survive. But there's a lot of the new world stuff going on, and a lot of our creativity is put into that, but it doesn't quite yet pay in the or in the old ways anyway. We get a lot of energetic stuff like we do on the channel and things, but we're still stuck in a world where we need those pennies to pay the bills and eat. So there's that real thing though. I feel very busy because we're doing so much work in this other side of where we want to go. I would say, you know some of the channel, some of the creative projects. I know you've got some ideas you're working on as well. We do some work with Steve, my brother. I do a lot on that. His channel is also trying to go into that creative side of things. Uh, but yeah, just at the moment, it doesn't. All that work is unpaid, so it just feels busy like that. We can't sort of just jump ship and go head first into that new world yet. But again, coming back to Franco, I think we had a short that did quite well from one of the videos about 2025 being the year of the reveal and masses of changes in this process where he mentions that um, humanity wouldn't be able to sort of ignore what's going on anymore. Everybody would understand that we need to do something about things. So, an interesting year ahead, I would say.
Yeah, not wanting to bring upon us any sort of curse with those words, but yeah, I agree, and absolutely about the creative thing. Watched I watch a lot of different people's material on various platforms, including on YouTube as well. And I do like it when there's a guy that I used to be in contact with, and I think a friend of actually on Facebook and things like that, who was a former bodybuilder out in the States. They were known, the two guys, as I think it was Peter and Paul, the Barbarian Brothers. And I really like one of his, sadly, I believe he's passed away, but one of his videos um, where he is talking about this whole notion of creativity being where you get into the God space, source, whatever words you want to use around that. But the moment that you go into that creative mode, sort of you're unstoppable. And also this thing of the downloads coming in at the same time. And I think at this time of year where we're thinking about, and inevitably it's an expensive time of year for probably all of us, right? This thing of what are riches? What is it to be rich? What is it to receive a payment? We just did a lovely video with Tim Jenkin, which will go out on the 27th of December, which is a fantastic date, by the way. So I think that there's a sense now that we, maybe as a channel as well, and I'm hopeful that some of the other things I'm doing will help to support and be aligned with the channel, and that will be coming on stream in 25 as well. But I think for you and I, and for our audience, and all those who help us as well behind the scenes, our family, friends, you obviously mentioned Steve, of course, your wife, Joe, and just many other people in both of our families and friend networks who really support us, because, we don't make money from this. I think this thing of riches, is more about energy and about that type of support. There's many people, many of my friends who, and of course you, mate, who offer a support network, and that has been, certainly over the last 4 or 5 years, as valuable. I would say much more valuable than any sort of, gold, silver, even crypto, anything that we might put value in at the moment. These relationships are really a currency and far more valuable than anything else. And of course, those people are sort of people that if things were really tough or are really tough, they will support you. So this thing of building up a network and being willing and hopefully giving back to that network in a very even way, not thinking about your credits or debits with that network, but just thinking about giving when you can and when the spirit takes you and moves you. I think a lot of our contributors are like that as well. They're very giving of their time. We haven't paid contributors to come on, yet they show up, put in a lot of time. You can see how much effort, how much engagement they give. And I think there's a lot to be said for all of that. So I'm just very, very thankful. And I think Christmas is a very nice time to be thankful. And even if that's not particularly your thing, it may be mine, but it may not be others who tune into us. There is just that sense of sort of the solstice and rebirth coming out the 21st and coming through in the 25th and beyond. If that's more your thing, I still get it. And I think that we are feeling this wave of energy taking us into 25, and that it is going to be, pretty good.
It's amazing, really. Like you say, I think we've seen the most valuable thing has been the people we've met along the way on the channel, the network, the community that's been created. It's been incredible, really. To see that evolve and grow, and I think, that is a good point you make, that all those guests, none of them are paid to come on or anything. They just come out of goodwill, share their time and insights with us, and I think that's going to be the real value as we move forward. Even if we think about that we might be entering more prosperous times, just humanity as a whole. So when that stuff isn't so important, we're left with what is, and it is these relationships that, like you say, have value. And I think as well, we've missed out. We did a show quite a while back, I guess, with rather a goof, wasn't it, about economics and the sort of the wealth that's amongst the collective in that creative sort of way that we miss out on. We miss out on everyone's, whatever it is, art, music, just everything. It's to me, I'm excited that can be birthed and we can see what everyone has to offer, whatever it be. So it's interesting times, yeah.
Yeah, and I urge everybody who has got that sort of, particularly if it's stuff that they haven't yet made manifest, just start speaking about it and acting as if it's in. I mean, we did that lovely video, which is probably our most watched video, about humanitarian projects with with Dr. Keir Pruitt, and that was a lovely, lovely video. One of the reasons that I liked that so much is we were talking about the manifestation process rather than, is this going to happen on a certain day? How will the mechanics of all of this, of maybe a type of wealth release to the population in a way that we all become more abundant, and that those of us who are invested in certain things are sort of singled out to run these projects and whatever. That's all beautiful stuff. But I think that for me, the main point, and I know for somebody like Ellie or Eli Weber, who we've had on before as well, and that we watch his show as well, that there is really this sense that our creative energy is really the wealth that all of us have. So I just encourage anybody who's still hanging on to that thing of something else must happen first for me to take these actions, is however small those actions are, start talking about them. Obviously, the words carry a great deal of power, and start just moving forward. And you will find that you are supported. And obviously, if we can support, and if you want to come on the Quantum Bridge, if you're somebody who hasn't been on but likes what we do and the energy here, then come on, because hopefully that will then help push things forward. But you don't need us. There's enough supporting you at the moment to do these things yourself. So I just encourage anyone, as I always do, just to follow their creative spark, because it will take you in the right direction.
Yeah, we've done quite a few shows on that because we sort of had it was something we sort of relaunched, wasn't it? We did that thing about getting creative. We started sharing some of our projects, trying to encourage people.
Exactly.
We had a nice video of Alpine talking about the power of imagination in terms of that creativity. We had Kirsten Mustaine come on. She was talking about that, finding your purpose. And Pippa with Timelines, who's also released a book recently about aligning with your abundance timeline. That's her latest project. So it's great to see the guests, like I say, giving all this support and advice, and all the projects that they're doing. So
yeah, and we also do have more mainstream people coming on as well, who may not be aligned to all of the areas we cover. But I think it's important that we have that, and that we're not excluding anybody. And by doing that, you see how certain people have a certain take on it. And if you just bring your authentic spin to that, then you can navigate these what have been tricky waters. And I don't think they are going to be as tricky next year. I'm sure that we'll face all sorts of things, but I think that we will all feel a bit more supported as we come into this next phase. And it's just lovely that we've built up such a great network, such a lot of support, so that so many people actually saying very kind things about our videos and the content. And that is testament, obviously not to Gary and myself, but to the people that we have come on and their vibe. And we're just really, it's a real pleasure. And hopefully as well, we'll get some of the people that we had on way back now when we began, and see how they've changed and move on, and how their world has changed, because we are always in the debt to those people who were the first to join us. It's great that we have people now. It's really lovely always to get people on the show, but I just want to say a quick thank you to everybody who in the first few months supported us when we didn't know where this would go or if it would keep going and all those things. And we remember, and we won't forget that.
Yeah, absolutely, because it was an interesting time when we talk about that imagination and manifestation, and we would talk about our audience that at that point just didn't exist.
Well, even the show itself didn't actually.
That's right. Yeah, so it was approaching people to come on, and like Kaspa said, they were very kind to do that, and we would talk about, well, our audience would like this sort of thing, because we were already sort of imagining who that audience would be, who was trying to cater for.
Yeah.
And I mean, unfortunately, we didn't quite hit the 2,000 for this, so we can't announce that on this video. I think we're 5 short. So,
on the subscriber base, but we may find that we end the year with that. And if anybody watches this and isn't subscribed and is so inclined, please do, because it'd be nice to to end on the 2K would be nice.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So that we don't keep going on forever, is there anything else you wanted to cover? I know you had a few little points, or have you You done them all?
Not really. My main thing is that I just wanted to get, particularly because it's Christmas and the close of a year and coming into the birth of a new year, maybe a whole new epoch. It does feel like we're moving into a very different timeline, or that at least is available to us. That this idea of what is true richness, and without it sounding trite or glib or not authentic, I really have found out that it truly is not something received wisdom. Oh, really, it's friendship, or really, it's family, or really, it's you trying to do for others rather than thinking just about what you can get from a certain scenario. That actually the true pleasure, for example, in Christmas, and maybe it's just because I'm older, it really does come from giving. And when you give, you really do receive a lot more than just when you're looking to receive things. And I'm sure 20 years ago I wouldn't have felt like that about it at all, and certainly 30 or 40 years ago I definitely wouldn't. But I'm glad that I think we'll all mature much more in that way, and realise we're much happier because of it, and much more joy and love in our lives. So I just wish everybody a happy Christmas. Thank you for looking after us, being around us, and engaging with the material. And we hope to bring you high vibe 5D content in 2025. And thank you, Gary, for everything you do and all your support.
You're welcome, mate. And again, I have to thank you as well. You've given me a lot of support to on this journey to do this together. I mean, especially around the beginning when I would struggle with these, which I still somewhat do. But here we are. It's coming up to 2 years almost.
Yeah,
so a lot
getting there.
Well over 100. I've lost count now, but
we're up near 200 videos.
Oh, there we go. Yeah,
amazing. Yeah.
So we'll have. I think we'll really sort of get back into it in the new year. Find lots more new guests. There's quite a few people I've still got to contact to come on. We do have, like Kaspa mentioned, Tim coming out on the 27th, and we have one more in the bag with Andras joins us again to discuss
from Galactic.
It's a topic that we didn't know much about, so that was really interesting. He sort of broke down something that could be quite complicated into a nice little package for us. Because we try and cover all sorts of topics. Not just the out there woo stuff, the sort of more practical stuff, anything that's sort of going on that we might need to know about or be on our radar, so we can understand these things. That's why I think YouTube struggles with what this channel is about, because it can be random, but we like to keep it broad like that and not be put into a box, a bit like us personally.
Yeah, well, from NFTs to not needing money at all, which is very much what Tim Jenkin on our 27th of December video is about, to higher dimensional beings showing up, to much more grounded sort of ideas and concepts, but hopefully all just with the thing that permeates them is decency. If that's it, that we just do things that feel heartfelt and decent, that'll do for me, I think.
And it's all about that empowerment, and the sovereignty thing. So
yeah,
helping everybody to step into their own power.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. That's a very key point to end on. I think that if nothing else, if what we do here is allow people to see that there's other people out there living their truth, and that encourages them to step into their own power, and then they can say, don't like the quantum bridge, that's fine. Don't like those guys, that's fine too. But we will be very, very happy when more people step into what is their true nature and power, because people who do that actually will only say nice things.
Yeah, and it's great for that is the best way we can help the collective, is to be the best that we can be. At least strive for that. Because you want good people around you. That helps us all sort of lift up and do the best we can, really, when we move forward. So
yeah, and as difficult a time as Christmas can be, by the way, And this even just these winter months of the year, if you are in a colder climate, even those in the States who are maybe further north or into Canada or whatever, yeah, try and surround yourself with high vibing people when you can. You might have to battle through Christmas to do that. But yeah, it is absolutely key that for next year we keep our energy and vibe high, because that's where we'll create the best stuff. And I want to see what other people come up with, and I want my stuff and Gary's stuff to be out there too. So yeah, go for it.
Fantastic. Let's do it. See you next year, everybody.
See you next year, guys.
Take care. Bye now.